guys, TJ here. I'm signing back on to the Attorney Trilogy. So, Adrian Andrews is going to be on the witness stand next, and as long as we don't bring up her suicide attempt like we promised, we'll be fine. We promised we wouldn't talk about it. But I got a feeling I'm going to have to bring it up. Dude, I can't believe that Adrian. No way. Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. She is your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her. So after the ceremony during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See, she could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your hakama. Because she was the one that came to wake me up? Then, dude, you're saying it really was her? Yes, she's the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Corda. But why? I thought she was buds with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. Give me a birdie that's refreshing like a spring breeze, okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix, you think her motive is related to Celeste Impact's missing suicide note, right? Yeah. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impacts as her strength and reason to live. But then Miss Impact suddenly killed herself. Sounds like she left a suicide note, and the person thought to have hidden it is Juan Corda, the victim of this murder. And that's why I think Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Corda. All to get the suicide note back. That sounds plausible. But one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about the relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impacts. It was Edgeworth. It looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please. The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Corda's room. She still has that card. What is your occupation? I'm the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt Onguard. I see. Now then. Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. Yeah, sure. What is it? I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently. No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossipland. If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Corda. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself. So it was a fry and bait matter? Or was that a bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing. But I didn't kill him. No one is accusing you of that. I think there's someone who would beg to differ. I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews. Very well then. Witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room. And there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was, naturally, the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. You poured yourself a glass of juice. Do you even like tomato juice? I've never had tomato juice. I don't know if it's good or not, but I like tomatoes, but I don't know if tomato juice is really something I would enjoy. Yes, sadly I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of the crime. And I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Phoenix? She's one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yeah, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. Disrupt her pacing? She's the type of woman who is easily thrown up by things inconsistent with her thinking, so you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over. Understand? And what was Mr. Ongar doing at the time? He was taking a nap. He was worn out from his many performances as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony. Mr. Ongar did say he was taking a nap. But then I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of... Then I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, yes? Excuse me? It? What are you... Right, I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible sentence with a subject, then I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. Onguard's knife from his room? No. Subject, verb, object. Right. Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue. And why did you do that? As a friendly gesture, Juan was to make an appearance with the other heroes. So the show was supposed to be a show of friendship, huh? But they had a rivalry, and you know that. Show of friendship, my ass. Is that the only reason? I beg your pardon? What are you implying? You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to it, correct? So perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim? Sorry, but I didn't have any intentions in mind at the time. Can't get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence, I guess. Maybe continue now. Witness, what did you see when you got to his room? You were in shock. What? Was I not supposed to be? Miss Andrews is a very calculating person. Despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Corrida. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. And you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked. Somehow, I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not. You see. This is the photo you're referring to, correct? Yes, the one with the knife launched in his chest. And the guitar case was like this too? Yes, it was open and empty, of course. And then, what did you do next, witness? Juice. Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There were no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it. Miss Andrews, I'd like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Corrida, you were in great shock. And that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct? And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time. Your mind was a complete blank. I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing. What one thing? Never mind. It's no big deal. What was she starting to say just now? Press further. Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Actually, so would I. I'm sorry. It's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? This mess of glass shards? It was originally on top of the dresser, but when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case. Why did you withhold such an important piece of information? I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess. It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to your testimony. I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. Not even Edgeworth is... What kind of flower vase was it? It was a glass vase, and it was fairly big and heavy. I thought I would try to take Juan's pulse, and so I set the glass I was holding down on the dresser. And that's when my elbow accidentally hit the vase. That's odd. I thought she was always in total control of herself. That's what she would like people to think. Always be mindful of the gap between your perception and reality. Doesn't sound like there's any glaring contradictions in her testimony just now. I warned you earlier that she would not crack so easily. The only way to make her is to keep on the offensive and not let up. The only way you're going to catch her is with some very strong, decisive evidence. After my insulting, I just have to, for Maya's sake. It's that... I was the one who knocked over the flower vase, where it fell onto the guitar case. There's some water, but only on the lid. But it was open.
Objection!
You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct? Yes. And are you sure I fell onto the guitar case? Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what's so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. That's very true. Furthermore, there's one other strange thing about this guitar case. And what is that? Well, let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. Then what is wrong with that? If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shard should be inside, not outside the case. What is your point, Wright? That the case was closed at the time of the vase was knocked over? Is that all? No. Think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. Yes, that's right. She did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case. But what this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be. However, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it? Seems like there's no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case? I personally think so, yes. But... if we let up, we lose this. The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you. I can't believe I'm doing this either. Alright, I'll follow along. For now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case. Yes, Your Honor. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the bass over. It's not a big deal, though, right? The case was empty, after all. As for I opened the case, even I don't know. It looks like this really wasn't a very important point. This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost comforting. Anyways, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. Using any way to change the topic. A convenient escape for a weak man. During your testimony just now, did you remember those events clearly in your mind? Well, you see... Are you sure you're the one who opened the guitar case? She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should answer or not. Sounds like her dependent side is taking over. Well, Miss Andrews? Yes, it was me. So you opened the guitar case then? Yes? Well, maybe. Why did you open the guitar case? Huh? Mr. Corrida's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I would think that the first thing you would do is call for help, not open a guitar case. As the witness has said multiple times, when she found the dead body, she was dazed. Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. I thought maybe the criminal took it. Why would she care about the bright red guitar? But getting back on topic? Was it really empty? I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside. How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? Have a little professionalism. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trials would be over in half the time if you would just pay attention. Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright. Sorry. Was that because you were shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body? Yes, that's probably it. I'm not going to get anywhere if I continue pressing her like this. The only way to make her talk is with evidence. Guess I should give it a try. Come on, Phoenix, we can't afford to let up on her now. I wasn't planning on letting up, but she's at her weakest now, so this is our chance. Yeah, if we had a weapon to hit her with. I'm sure a weapon is hiding somewhere in the court record waiting to be found. Okay, let me look. Empty, some water, Corrida's fingerprints. Wait. It only bears Corrida's fingerprints. There's no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim. What is it, Miss Andrews? You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case. What do you mean? What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time? Then... Hold on. Wine glass. Bears Andrew's fingerprints. How the hell did you leave fingerprints if you were leaving... Oh my god! Miss Andrews! gloves. Well, why would you be wearing gloves at the time? It was the night of the award ceremony. So of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime. That's strange. You were wearing gloves. Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time?
Take that!
I have your proof right here. This wine glass. The wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Oh. Her glasses broke. And she has a spare. Order, order, order! Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here. But it's just an empty case. I wonder if it really was empty, though. But the guitar! The bright red guitar was at the studio. Phoenix, drop all of your presumptions. What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar. You don't mean... It was a bright white guitar. No, wait, that's not right. Either. I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case... Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided... No, Your Honor. Please, recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crimes took place. However, it was wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I'm sure the guitar case has some relation to the murder. If you're so sure, right? Then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please, enlighten us as to why the guitar case has anything to do with this murder. Can you do that, Mr. Wright? Well, let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case. Bright red guitar not being the only thing? Talking about the suicide note? Oh my god, why would he carry that around if that's true? You don't mean to suggest that bright black... First the white guitar, now the black guitar. So you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty, is that right? Is that it, right? I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours, you haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder? I want to say it was a suicide note. But why would he put it in his guitar? And why would something like that be inside a guitar case, let alone this one? Why, Mr. Wright, why? Well, I just thought it might have been possible. I have a suggestion. Why don't you put that in the void where your brain is supposed to be? Yes, but never bring it out again. Can't a foolishly foolish fool get some love? No, I was taken after. And why would it be in the guitar case? I feel like this would. I feel like the suicide note would actually have been like the right thing, but I. Why would the Nickel Samurai's outfit be in the guitar case? Did she bring him the guitar case? I don't remember that.
Take that!
This is a photograph. Yes, but what is important is what is in that picture, Your Honor. In this picture? It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is... inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. What? Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Right, are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to doing something like that? That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a prosperous idea? A prosperous? Preposterous. Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct? You mean this photo? Order! Order! It looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we? Nice job, Phoenix. Oh, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later. So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume. Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt on guard's. Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places? True. That is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was the Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case? It was a spare costume. Mr. Ongard did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we are talking about was a spare one. What? Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel? Yes, that is what I'm saying. And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case? It would mean that the victim himself had brought this spare to the ceremony on purpose. Confession. Oh my god. Juan was oh. But why? The victim, Mr. Corrida, was the Jammin Ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai spare costume with him? Could be the reason behind such a peculiar act. And therein lies the sticking point. What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? No, I just... Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai spare costume? Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer, and then answer with gusto. I believe in you. Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai spare costume to the hotel was... the confession. What is this? On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference. A press conference? Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well. For once you're not making something up right. But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Arngarner himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. But how can that be? The way I see it, that can only mean one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida himself. The victim? Yes. The spare nickel samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Corrida was going to hold a press conference as the nickel samurai. He was going to dress up as the nickel samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing? That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference. The nickel samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Corrida, posing as the nickel samurai, was going to speak about Matt on guard. Yes, I guess that is what it would mean. But if that's the case, that's not a confession. That's public disclosure. Miss Andrews? I can see why you're pros at what you do. Pardon me? Yes, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan. Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this. I was the one who he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me. You? Juan had bet everything on the Jammin' Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyway. He was going to ruin him, huh? It looked like somehow Juan had his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed. What? And do you know what the secret of Mr. Onguard's is, Miss Andrews? And that's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is. I see. I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone. But that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt, after all. Protect Mr. Onguard. And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior. Yes, Your Honor. I understand. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him. This does account for everything. Well, I am the logical type. I've finally seen her true self. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit. If the defense can find no fault with this testimony, I am ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine Mr. Wright. Looks like somehow everything is swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. Would you say that that was your intuition speaking to you? Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things. 3 things? A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. And if you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear. You should have already known that, Phoenix. They didn't teach that to us in school. At least not from what I remember. May I continue now? So what would you say this need came from the press conference? Yes. Do you know why Juan chose that event and that hotel for the conference? Because that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved Matt on guard. And you knew of this plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews? Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume. But I'm sure Mr. Onguard himself didn't know anything about the press conference. Well, Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference? Anyway, the important thing here is that this information was not in your testimony. Yes, I agree. Miss Andrews, please correct your testimony if you please. Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright? Has Mr. Ungar done something to hurt or betray you personally? Why do you ask? You were the one who helped Mr. Corrida with his press conference. And that event was supposed to bring down Mr. Ongard, yet you still helped out. The person on trial right now is Mr. Ongard, right? What the witness was thinking, helping the victim with his plan, is none of our concern. In any case, this means that the defendant had a motive to kill. Why do I keep doing this to myself? He didn't have an alibi. But didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. Ongard was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me now that that too was a lie so you could cover for Mr. Ongard? I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, that I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at the time. I keep trying, but I can find no flaws with what Miss Andrews has said. I can say the same for some people here in this courtroom, however. I can't. The judge is glaring straight at Mia. He's glaring at you, smart guy. You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. Then, what about the button? The button? It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought. And during this fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jammin' Ninja's costume. You're talking about this button, correct? That button was found in the pleats of Matt's Hakama, isn't that correct? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence. Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright. Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Thank goodness Mia can still look at me. With an icy stare, yes. Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony. The button was torn off of Bond during the fight with Matt. And how do you know that? When the ends of the threads on the button and the costume were matched up, they were found to fit together perfectly. So I heard. I've heard that before too. But why did Miss Andrews know about this case down to such fine detail? Don't look at me like that! Just because I'm prepared and you're not. I thought I had her this time for sure. If there's anything to trip her up on, it has to be here. But where? And what? Was torn, was ripped. I can't go by semantics. But what you really did was stab the guy in the back, didn't you? And at the worst possible time. Who's to say she really stabbed the guy in the back, as you put it? This witness could have disclosed things about Mr. Ongard at any time. Why then would she wait until there was a large audience before doing so? It's the same reason why Mr. Corrida planned such an elaborate conference. Miss Andrews wanted to cause Mr. Ongard as much damage as she could possibly do. The witness bears ill will towards the defendant. This isn't the Phoenix Wright wax philosophical power hour. And please, stop slandering the witness. As I expected, Miss Andrews' testimony seems pretty solid. Really? Because to me it sounded like a little wishy-washy. Wishy-washy? Well, I guess we'll see if I press a little more. You should know this by now. But you'll need strong, decisive evidence to make her talk. Got it, Chief? I'm going to pin you down this time, Miss Andrews. Strangled with a scarf and stabbed with a knife. When did he have had the time to tear the button off if he was strangling him? Like, that would have been mostly from behind, wouldn't it? He was strangled with the scarf. So yeah, that would have been from behind. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off the costume when? After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly. Which means it's impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle, because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. That's right, Miss Andrews. There's no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off the victim's already dead body. Order! Order! What is the What is the meaning of this right? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know this button was not torn off during the fight, so the murderer took the time and effort to purposefully rip this up from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with the button? To pin the crime on Angard. There's only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. Angard. There's no way anyone would have put a bloody button in their own pants. That's right, Mr. Angard was set up. By the real killer, of course. And the real murder is... Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer, then? Finally. Can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. Angard, is... well... it would be... Adrian Andrews. She had a reason to at least speak with Corda. Miss Adrian Andrews. I choose you. You are Mr. Corda's killer. What? Oh, there goes another pair of glasses. Order, order, order! Mr. Wright, this is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence to support your charge? Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews. How preposterous! You can't stick any of that on me! I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Then what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. Ongard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. And there goes another. How many spares do you have, woman? Then, what about the button that was found in Matt's Hakama? This button was removed from the victim's body after he'd already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. Ongard was the real killer, there's no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own Hakama. And there goes another one. You have a shit ton of spares, woman. The only person who could have put this button into Mr. Ongard's Hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews. I see. What about the empty guitar case? That's also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was just such a costume in the guitar case? It could only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews. No, But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. Juan Corrida opened it. That's right. That's because she didn't intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposefully left her fingerprints on the glass to show that, yes, indeed, she was the classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. And to top it all up, there's this photo. A photo of the killer as they exit the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on Earth can believe this nickel samurai is Mr. Ongard. He would have been much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Please, stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? Got her this time. Miss Andrews? I refuse to testify. What was that? There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me. Does this game have a Fifth Amendment? Well, yes. You are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination. By allowing a witness not to testify, the testimony can cause damage to themselves. What? Pleading the Fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Ongard's room. Adrian Andrews! Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood! Alright. That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews not to testify if things looked bad. You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there is still one thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done? What's wrong, Wright? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence? What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? Everything you've proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial? Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to prove a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Corrida. Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Corda? I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering. Translation, yes. But, Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think? Maybe so, or maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence. No, she's taking a defiant attitude again. Mia, what should we do? Somehow, we blend in the worst possible situation. I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid definitive proof. But that's not true! In this situation, there is only one thing to do that this court can do, and that is to declare a recess. Recess? I request that both the prosecution and defense look further into this matter. And at tomorrow's trial... Tomorrow? We don't have a tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial. Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya... But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is... It's not impossible for this trial to continue. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you? It's true Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation were something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony. Yes, that is very true, but... Actually, there's one little thing that I'm curious about. Miss Andrews. When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and? I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they're shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he friend or foe? Just don't know. Well, when he heard something about Maya, he caught on. I think he caught on that something's going on. The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Mr. Andrews, if you please. That glass of juice. I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, I thought that he was dead. The thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. But to be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. So you poured that glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony? I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left. I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours? Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. But there wasn't anyone else in the room, right? Of course not. Then who did you pour it for? Mr. Wright, there's a rhyme and reason for everything. Can you wait just a little longer for it to be revealed to you? In other words, Wright, be quiet and listen. Precisely. I couldn't have said it better myself. So, it was a mess. Are you sure it wasn't messy because of your fight with Mr. Korda? I understand your frustrations in not being able to prove your theory. However, before you go accusing people of crimes, go find yourself some evidence. And then, what did you see next, witness? Slumped over. Yes, he was just sitting there with his head tilted forward, eyes closed. He really looked like he was sleeping. It's just me, or did that right there sound a little odd? Then what did cross your mind? I thought maybe he had smashed everything up in anger because he lost the Grand Prix. And then felt tired after his rampage, so he decided to take a nap. Anyways, that's what I thought. I see, so you didn't think he was dead at all. You thought he fainted. I thought he was asleep at first. But then, the room was in such a messy state. I thought maybe he had gotten into a fight with someone. And that's when you went to pour the glass of juice. Yes, he always had a hard time waking up. So Juan always has a glass of tomato juice to drink. I see. And after that, what happened next? And how did you come to realize that he was, in fact, dead? I shook him over and over, but I never got a response. So I set the glass down on the dresser and tried to take his pulse. I was shocked and staggered backwards. And knocked the flower vase over. So that was what happened. Yes. This is what it all comes down to. This is the absolute end for both sides. And Adrian is letting her guard down. Phoenix, now's our best chance yet to kill the prosecution's case. Isn't that a bit harsh? Miss Andrews, will you tell us the truth this time? Hang on. You saw him slumped over. How would you not have noticed the knife in his chest? Bitch! Okay? Here then. There we go. So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him? No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body. What is the meaning of this? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There's a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Corrida's chest. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought that there was a dead man. Or at the very least, he was very injured and had fainted from blood loss, but still. Well, you see, I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted, and then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink. Your point is... Miss Andrews, your testimony just now was all one giant lie. And there goes another pair. And your lie has proven one thing very clearly. That you were the real killer. No! It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. And we didn't even need to bring up the suicide attempt. So that's good. The defendant, Miss Angard, is not guilty after all. That's impossible! You're wrong! Miss Andrews, try to have some composure. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt! I swear it! He's the one who killed Juan! But you were the one who refused to testify. And your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself. That's because... Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you? I refuse to testify. Then there is no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Matt Angard's innocence has been clearly demonstrated. Is it over? Have we found the truth at last? What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't. Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt Angard.
Objection!
What now, Edgy? Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time. What? The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute real truth. The absolute real truth? What are you... Witness, don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt Angard will go free. And in his place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie. I don't believe you. What? I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty. What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it? I can't speak about it. Too scared. It's Franziska von Karma. Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of another. Because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself. Then, right now, Miss Andrews is... Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Matt Angard will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now, and is clinging on to them. And what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get her not guilty. That's my only priority. It wasn't me. I'm begging you, please believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Help, please. Someone help me. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? This court can't continue on like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do. What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? Right, I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who the real mastermind behind this crime. Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else who it could be except for the woman crying over there, right? Come now, what will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? We've proven his innocence. What comes afterwards? What comes of Andrew's thing can be discussed at a later time. Maya's life is more important. If I'm incorrect in her having escaped. No matter what she says, Miss Andrews is the only person it could be. Not to mention, I don't have a choice. I have to win a complete acquittal today. Your Honor, the defense believes there is enough evidence to substantiate our claim. Therefore, we motion that this court passes the verdict of not guilty as soon as possible. I'm disappointed in you, Wright. What have you learned in this past year? That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense's theory is the truth. You're wrong. What a shame. I'd hoped things wouldn't come to this. However... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Stop. Mr. Edgeworth! This witness... How should I put this? She has an illness. What? And because of this illness, she's tried to commit suicide in the past. Edgeworth! There's no need for this! Stop. Please stop. No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here. That's the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I'm about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of a pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews. The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world. Please stop! I beg you! If people find out... If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. Edgeworth, how can you be so cold? However, before you die, I will pull the truth from your still breathing lips. No matter what I have to do. So, will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either way is fine with me. Shut up! I'll talk, but please, help me. Sorry about that. Took my meds. Nothing matters anymore. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then, I stabbed Juan's dead body with a knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. And that's why I ended up using the nickel samurai costume. Stabbed it in the body, with the knife. But why would you do that? Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man. What do you mean by all of this? It might take this court a little while to understand, but... This is the truth. The real killer is Matt. That scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time. Last time. So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim Juan Corrida in the chest with a knife. However, she didn't do it with the murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Mr. Matt Ongard for the murder. And this is her crime. What? How's this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? Mr. Wright, please go get over your shock and commence the cross-examination. But you could tell from the state of the room was in, there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say that you didn't know he was dead? I had a scarf tied around his neck. That scarf is part of the Gemma Ninja costume, so... I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up, and went to pour the juice. What is this plan you had? I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because Juan He was going to expose Matt's weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. And that's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin the crime on Matt. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife.
Hold it!
That was so you could get the knife, correct? The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime.
Hold it!
So you were the one to stab the victim with the knife. It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. Then, when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I used the button somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspect. So you thought to rip one of the buttons off and then plant it in Mr. Ongar's hakama? Yes, that's what I planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they?
Hold it!
An inconvenience. There was a woman with the camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway. I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lotta. There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. That's Miss Oldback for you. I'd already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again.
Hold it!
You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it into Juan's guitar case the day before the awards ceremony. You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes, Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's biggest secret there. And what is the secret? That I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in the Nickel Samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume. I think we've heard enough. So after that, you went back to Mr. Ongar's room and planted the button. Into Matt's hakama? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it. My word. What does all this mean? Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Ongar. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk. Francisca, huh? She said that I should under no circumstances confess to what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words. What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer. Wait, Your Honor! The defense still... Right? It's pointless. At this point in time, it's not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything. Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. We couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit. Please, let it go, Mr. Wright. But... Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning. Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately. That is all. Court is adjourned for today. First time I've seen that chair empty. Today's trial. It's over. I didn't win an acquittal. Witness, would you mind if I asked you something? Edward? What is it? Before you leave court today, I wondered if I might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it? Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright, I remember just now. I found this in the room on that day. The room? That day? Yes. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was lying there right next to him. You found that card next to the victim's body. I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right? Yeah, I guess not, but it's still a strange card if you ask me. But as far as a clue to this case, I don't see why. Witness that card! Give it to me! Hurry! Edgeworth? Do you have any idea what you have stupidly and inadvertently done? I can't believe you hid this from me all this time. I didn't mean to. What is all this about? I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. That card. What in the world is it? What does it mean? There, Pearls.
I can't take it anymore.
Look, it'll be alright. Everything may still work out. The condition was that we had to get a not guilty verdict. Then, so far, the kidnapper has kept his word and hasn't hurt Maya. And he won't because Mr. Ongard hasn't been given a guilty sentence yet. Cheer up! We don't have time to stand around crying. We have to get going.
You're right. Mr. Maya is in much more pain than I am.
Yes, that's right. So. Hey, you guys! Glad I caught you, pal.
Mr. Scruffy Detective!
Oh, boy. Looks like Detective Gumshoe has been dubbed Mr. Scruffy Detective in Pearl's book now. It's just plain old Mr. Dick Gumshoe now. And I came to talk to you, pal. But we're kind of busy right now. What's up? So, what are you going to do from now on? What do you mean, pal? Well, you've been fired, right? So, do you have a new job lined up yet? Oh, that! What am I supposed to do now, pal? I don't have anything coming in at all until my next payday. What are you talking about? You don't have another payday! I guess that means I'm just gonna have to work here at your place, pal. Say what? You'll be searching for things that'll prove Mr. Ongard's innocence all day, right? Well, yeah. So yeah, I'm going to help you, pal. I've got lots of experience in investigating and watching over people's places. And I'm great at making really simple meals, pal. I'll take care of it all.
Come on, Mr. Nick. Let's let Mr. Scruffy Detective take care of things.
Okay. By the way, what's your best dish? Instant noodles, pal. Why am I surrounded by people who only eat cheap, unhealthy foods? That was the first time I've ever seen Mr. Edgeworth act like that. Never thought he'd say something like he didn't care if Miss Andrews killed herself.
He said that? That's horrible!
Well, because of him doing that, we got the truth finally. The truth. Miss Andrews' last testimony. I wonder if that was the truth. I'll give you that there was nothing strange in her testimony itself. But I still think there's something fundamentally wrong with the whole thing. You mean about that thing, pal? Why would she want to... No, I mean, almost need to frame Mr. Ongard. I couldn't figure that out from anything she said all day. Then... They're saying that testimony was a lie. Not a lie, per se. It just feels like there's more here than meets the eye. Or that's what Edgeworth would like us to believe.
That's such a dirty trick. Even that woman prosecutor was better than that.
Franziska von Karma. Speaking of Miss von Karma, do you have any more information on her condition? Wasn't she shot this morning? Miss von Karma was shot today on the way to the trial by a pistol pal. But she's going to be fine, right? I mean, Edgeworth says she was in stable condition, but... Well, she was shot in the shoulder, so she's okay and still hanging in there. They should be done taking the bullet out, so she's probably resting at the hospital. Which one? What? You going to visit her, pal? No. Well, I was kind of thinking about it. Hey, you've actually got her heart, don't you? She looked like she was being tortured to death not being able to go to trial today. So maybe it'd be good for her if you went and let her whip you for a bit, pal.
Let's go and let her whip us, sister.
No, Pearly, don't say that! I'm definitely not going. Let's see. Name of the hospital. Oh yeah, the Hottie Clinic. That name sends a chill down my spine. Well, I guess it can't hurt to stop by and say hi. She is going to kill us. She is going to absolutely kill us. Are you gonna run into that crazy man again? Never thought I'd ever come back to this place. I had to open my fat mouth, didn't I? Yes. Are you here to visit a patient? Hi. Wait a second, you're... yes, I'm Director Hottie. Why are you still here? Yes, what is it? Can I help you? You can tell me. Yes. Director Hottie! Oh, hi, Edgeworth. Sorry, I gave you... I thought the nurse was getting on his ass again. I'm sorry, Edgy. Edgeworth! Yes, I'm Director Hottie. Ho ho. Oh, you're the man from this morning. Yes. What is it? Director Franziska. How is Franziska von Karma? You don't need to worry. Yes, she's in good hands. Because you see, I'm personally taking good care of her. Yes, and that thing, that surgery, it went well. Actually, honestly, even with her and the condition, she would probably beat the living shit out of you if you tried anything. You have my gratitude. Looks like Edgeworth doesn't know about this director and his secret. Shoot, so pitiful, absolutely terrified. Yes. But I understand. Yes, her opponent was a gun after all. And when I snug up in her real secretly, she would scream real loud. Yes. I see. But she's really cute too. When I do that, she'd whip me with her whip. Yeah, beat the shit out of you. Boy, did I cry like a baby. Yes, but I think I get used to it. Thank you. Go back to your room. You're so mean. So mean, my frisky Friska. But that's good too. Okay. Yes, yes, for my IV drops. Yes. And what are those tulips doing in your hands, Mr. Phoenix Wright? I know I shouldn't have come here. I was shot in front of the courthouse, in my right shoulder. But it's no big deal. This sort of thing happens all the time. I even had full intentions of running the trial this morning.
But that would have been too much for you.
There's no need to act tough in front of us, you know. Regardless, I was dragged here by that man over there. He was so unyielding, one has to wonder if he was simply interested in sticking my case. It was the only logical course of action given the bullet was still lodged in your shoulder. But by taking over the case, I found myself having to clean up after you and that irresponsible deal you made. I think I know what deal he's referring to. Miss von Karma, you made a deal with Miss Andrews yesterday, didn't you? I don't know what you mean. In order to make sure you got your guilty verdict on Mr. Ongard, you told Miss Andrews not to testify in court today.
I don't know what you're talking about. Do you have proof that I made such a deal?
You're denying it?
It looks like you were lucky, Mr. Phoenix Wright. If I had been in court today, this trial would already be over.
All while hiding Miss Andrews' own crime.
That isn't my problem. Whether she had tampered with the evidence or not. I have only one objective. To find Ongard guilty of murder. The end justifies the means, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The end justifies the means.
Miss Von Karma. Adrian Andrews believed you when you said if you don't tell the truth of what really happened, then Ongard will be found guilty.
And what does that have to do with me? Because of that, she's now in danger of being found guilty herself. All because she believed in your words until the very end. This has nothing to do with me. She's just a weak person, that's all.
But you had to know she was...
Ow! I think visiting hours are about over. So if you'll excuse me. What's wrong? Why did she suddenly cut you off?
Probably because she thinks I had the advantage in that argument. Edgeworth. What happened today at the trial, Edgeworth? That was not like you at all. I mean, I know you knew about Miss Andrews' condition. You could have made her testify as many times as you wanted, but to go that far... But she wouldn't testify about that until I said something. Listen, right. The courtroom is a garden of judgment. I'm putting myself on the line when I stand in there. And that's why I made the witness do the same. It's only natural. By the way, Edgeworth, you were really angry in court today. That's rare for you. Witness, that card. Give it to me. Hurry. Do you have any idea what you've stupidly yet inadvertently done? I can't believe you hid this from me all this time. That card? What in the world is it? You mean this? Listen, right. This is top secret information. You absolutely cannot leak this. Special investigations team has existed for a number of years, but few know of it. I understand? Their task is to find the owner of this card. A man called Shelley the Killer. The Killer? I think we should really talk about what happened with Maya. And just as his name states, he is a killer. An assassin. The best at that. An assassin? So who's this Shelley the Killer? The Killer is the name of a long-standing line of assassins.
Long-standing?
The name first appeared about 100 years ago, I hear. Shelley is the professional name of the third heir to the Killer name. So because his professional name is Shelley, he leaves his cards with a shell on them? He has a habit of making sure to leave a card by the body of his victims. So... he possibly killed... Juan.
Why would he do something like that?
We think it's a part of his duty to his clients. Who wanted Juan killed? His duty? If he leaves a card, then his clients could be assured it was he who killed the victim. It also serves as insurance against any charges being pushed onto his clients. I see. The Killer values the trust between his clients and himself above all else. It seems that this is one honorable assassin with a moral conscience. I guess that even honorable assassins can exist. So, you think this assassin, you think he's the one who did the killing in this case? It would appear that way. The discovery of the card basically confirms it, wouldn't you agree? Shelley the Killer, huh? Yeah. Yes. I noticed something at the trial today. I must accidentally hit court record. You're behaving in a very strange manner. Is something the matter? I guess I should just tell him. Maya, she's been kidnapped. Kidnapped? What does the kidnapper want? An acquittal. I see. I had no idea. I'll prepare a rescue team as soon as possible and resolve this by tomorrow.
Really? Did you hear that, Mr. Nick? Mr. Edgeworth is going to...
Stop trying to console me, Edgeworth. I don't need your pity.
Mr. Nick?
There's no way you can find her. We don't even have a single lead to go on. There's only one way to save her. I have to get an acquittal somehow. It's the only way. Right. Listen, you need to know something. Juan Corrido was killed by Shelley the Killer. And the client who ordered the job is Matt on... You sure we're not giving him more credit than he deserves? He is kind of a bumbling idiot. Or maybe I'm underestimating him. Please stop. I can't listen to you. I can't believe that. I see. Well, if you want to continue your investigation, you'll need this.
What is it?
The hotel right now is restricted to police personnel only, as we're looking for any clues that might lead us to Shelley the Killer. But if you take this with you to the hotel, I'm sure they'll let you enter. In any case, I must attend to the preparations for Maya's rescue team. We'll meet again, if anything should happen. Now, if you excuse me.
Mr. Nick? Do you think Mr. Ongard had...
That would explain why the thing didn't go off when we asked him if he killed Juan. He didn't kill Juan. He hired someone to do so. So, he's still telling the truth, technically. No way. I mean, he doesn't have a psych lock.
Yeah, I guess not.
Maya. Please. All I ask is you make it home. Safe and sound. I guess even kidnappers can be a little clumsy. Clumsy enough to drop a card like this for me. And even though he said he was an assassin, I bet he's just making that up, like how Nick does with everything in court. Anyway, let's try out the card trick with this card I just found. Sounds like I got the door open. Okay, time to go take a look around. What is this place? Nice room. I've got a feeling I'm not in the hotel anymore. Are those videos over there? I'll worry about that later. For now, I should be looking for clues. That way, I can show them to Sis and maybe get out of here. That's weird. What's a figurine doing on a sofa in a place like this? I think it's a bear. Aw, how cute! But it's got a lot of cuts and slits on it. Wonder if it's some kind of puzzle or something. There's a framed picture sitting on the coffee table. That's her. That's Impacts. Why would a photo of Impacts be here? It's a picture of a woman. She's kind of pretty. Hey, looks like there's in here. Let's see. I think it says, "With love, Celeste." I bet this could be a clue. Oh, hey, it's a computer. I've never really used one before. I have no idea where the power switch on this thing is. Drat, there goes my plan to use this somehow to get out of here. What is this thing? An antenna, I guess? And this is a VCR. Sure are a lot of electronic gadgets here. But what is the antenna doing here? Wow, I've never seen a TV this big before. Now, where's the power button? Phooey, it's busted. I would so die a happy samurai fan if I ever got to see the Nickel Samurai on a TV like this. I can't believe I just made a joke about dying, all things considered! It's so dark in here that I can barely see, but these kind of feel like videotapes. All of them. Just what kind of room is this? Locked, of course. And it doesn't look like I can use the card to open this door. There's a little hole at the bottom of the door. If only I was a little skinnier, then maybe I'd be able to crawl through there. Oh, this simply will not do. I cannot have you wandering around at will. It seems that your Mr. Wright is truly concerned about you. He is? For now, I would suggest you remain cooperative. If you cannot, there are ways in which I can help you. Ways? You mean... A dead man tell no tales, is how the saying goes, correct? Dead? I'm almost certain he told you on our first meeting. I am an assassin. No way. You're lying. I mean, an assassin? People are not always who they appear to be. Mr. Nick? Oh, yes, Pearls. Got caught up in my thought about my situation. Mr. Edgeworth has left, you know. I guess for now I have no choice but to believe in Mr. Ongard. But I think I should listen to his story one more time. Alright, well, let's get going to. Okay! Oh, nope. Were you that intense? But why would the killer have a picture of impacts in his observation room? I'm sorry, but visiting hours are over for today. Aww. I have too many questions I need to ask. I'm sorry, but I'm Phoenix Wright, a lawyer for one of the... You're Mr. Wright, you say? Oh, yeah, there's a message here for you. A message? It's from Matt Ongard. Oh, here you are. What did he write? Is it something really important? I don't know. Let's see what it has to say. To Mr. Lawyer, dude, I've got something really important to tell you. Why do I feel uneasy all of a sudden? Oh, Mr. Wright. So, actually, I have a favor to ask of you. I have this cat named Shu. I didn't put out a lot of food when I left the house, so he's probably pretty hungry. You think you could drop by my house and feed Shu for me, dude? My house is just a little ways down from the hotel, alright? This is terrible! Let's hurry! We have to feed his cat! I'm sure poor Shu's stomach is growling by now. Yeah. I guess. Client's request is a request. Guess I should go check up on his cat. Why do I not have the option to go check on his cat? Alright now, Miss Nick! Let's go look for clues. We have to, for Miss Maya's sake. Shall not pass! I want to be so done with this woman. Can't she just
You testify in court. You're lost. Can't you just disappear forever? I could find you a really nice retirement home that would hopefully be willing to deal with your shit. Miss Oldbag! Don't devalue my name and turn into a gasp, you spiky-headed pettifogger! What? Because of you, I've been made to look like the bad guy again! Although I did get a piece of gum from Edgy Boy, just as he promised. Whatever they... And there she goes. Ugh. Wait, did she faint? Miss Oldbag! Keep your hands off me! This helmet's airtight. No air is getting in, and no air gets out. That's not good. Then why do you keep putting it on? Don't think you can get me to move with the silly questions. You're going to have to defeat me if you want to get by. I'm not hearing this. Maybe if I show her this letter I got from Edgeworth. Miss Oldbag, if you would look at... What? You want me to look at this worthless piece of... Edgy poo. Is that her perfume? Pheromone de amber I smell? Let's see here. Would you please allow this unsophisticated young person to conduct his investigation? Yeah, that sounds like something he'd write. Yours truly, Miles Edgeworth. Yours Oh god, Edgy. I bet you vomited when you wrote that. That man's good at flattery. Fine, but only because Edgy Poo said so. You understand? I just thought of something I have to do. Remember, no messing around. You do anything bad and I won't let you off the hook. It looks like she has a strong feelings for Mr. Edgeworth. To his dismay. Maybe, but you don't know what's going to come of it. It's so mean, Mr. Nick. Feelings are meant to be told and shared. Ow. Every time we talk about love, I always end up with a handprint on my face somehow. So, anyone else continue our investigation? Okay. What now? One little thing before I forget. You can't go into On-Guard's room today. Why? The police's main investigation team is going to be in there all day. Wonder if they're the team in charge of investigating the killer. So don't go in there. Set one foot in there and you'll face the wrath of Wendy Oldbag. Pretty sure you can even fight off your wrath. Living room. This must be On Guard. Yeah, On Guard's mansion. Sure is dark. I'll turn on a light. Damn. Wow, so this is what a star's house looks like. Must be nice to be rich. Come on, Mr. Nick. Let's find Shoo, the kitty cat. Shoo! I guess it's... Oh, she's so cute. Wait. I can't remember what gender he said the cat was. Cat seems to like pearls. Pardon me. You. May I help you with something, mister? Oh, we're lawyers. Actually, I'm Mr. On-Guard's lawyer. The master's... Then you must be Mr. Wright. Yes? Ah, it's a pleasure to meet your wonderful self. I am the family butler, John Doe. You fucking shitting me, mate? Nice to meet you. There. That's the door where Maya's being held.
store right here. Behind here is where she's being held. Behind here is where she's being held! But since we're in the shoes of Phoenix Wright, he doesn't know. There's a small door at the bottom of this bigger door, Mr. Nick. I bet it's for Mr. Unguard's cat to use. Oh, you mean shoe? Door. It's locked tight. Well, I guess that's to keep nosy people like me from entering it. There are masks here! Yeah, that one in the middle is the Steel Samurai. The one next to that are the Pink Princess and the Evil Magistrate. They fought many battles against the backdrop of Neo Tokyo. Wow, you really know a lot about the Steel Samurai, Mr. Nick! Don't know whether to laugh or cry that I know more about that show than a kid. A giant bicycle is flying through the air! A bicycle pros is one where you don't have to pedal, and it moves on its own. Really? Wow! But sorry to disappoint you, it can't fly. Oh, that's too bad. No, unless you fly it off a ramp or something. Then you're flying. For however long the distance and the height is, and if it's too much, then you'd end up dead, most likely, and that would be wrecked. Oh, there's a giant cooking hearth here. That's actually a fireplace. How are they different, Mr. Nick? You know, I've never actually seen a hearth before, come to think of it. You should come and visit Faye Manor, then. I'll show you one when you do. It's a very comfortable and spacious lounge set. Wonder if famous stars drop by and sit around and have a good time. In any case, I don't really belong here, do I? What is with me of feeling inferior today? Alright, let's talk to... John Doe. You must know all sorts of things about Mr. Enguard, right? Honestly, sir, I don't believe my master is capable of such foul deed as murder. And, anything else? No, not especially. It's not appropriate for a lowly servant to speak of the master or his affairs. Well, typically butler-like, as it were. Mr. Doe, how long have you served at this residence? Well, sir, I would have to say maybe about 1 year. And, anything else? No, not especially. It's not appropriate for a lowly servant to... You know, I would have thought Mr. Enguard the kind to have a maid over a butler. Yeah, that too! Like... Why is your cover, I am his butler? You should cross-dress and say you're his maid. That would make way more sense. About Shu. It's a very cute cat you've got here. It's my duty to take care of him. The master rather fancies Shu. Then, anything else? No, not especially. Oh then, I guess I don't need this piece of scrap paper anymore. Well, I'm afraid I must take my leave of you now. Oh, we should probably get going ourselves. Ah, so young and yet already so accomplished. A master of law. But there's also a lot to be proud of in being a butler. In charge of the house and all? Thank you for the compliment, sir. People are not always who they appear to be. Don't I know it? No, if you'll excuse me. Guess we'll get out of here too. Alright. Let's start looking around the hotel. Looks like we're the only ones here. And yet, the hotel seems so busy somehow. Probably because the police team is scouring for clues about the killer. Is Lada still here? Have you been here the whole time, Lada? Hey, city boy! Lada, you're still here. Wrecking cars!
investigative photographer aids or stops on her ability to snap up the scoop. Yeah? Scoot? I meant scoop. Why did I say scoot? And this hotel just has that aura of mystery. You know, like something's always about to happen? But, do you have a camera? Correct, Gibbon. The photographer's got to have cameras out the ear like corn to be a real pro, you know? So I'm hanging around here. Speaking of cameras and feeding the mouth, do you have mine, you bread thief? Why can't you drop the thief thing already? I want to ask you about the night of the murder. What, you really gonna shell out the bucks with the info I got? Lotta, you were loitering in this hallway the night of the murder, were you not? Well, kinda, but... Brace yourself, Phoenix. Here it comes. I didn't exactly hang around here the entire time, you know. Bought a few stars around. Got a few autographs, shook a few hands, had a soap pop with a few of them too. Looks like she wasn't here the entire time that night. The security lady also wasn't in this hallway the whole time either. I guess this means there's no one who can tell us just who came and went that night. So, about the note that was inside your camera case. Oh, that ditty I wrote? Yeah, can I believe what you've written? You mean the stuff about On God shoving his manager lady on the corridor? Yeah. Oh well, I reckon you best not be believing that. What? Look, I sort of wrote that on a whim, you know? Writing whatever came to mind. Whatever came to mind? Yeah, when you get down to it, it's just a lot of random bull-dooders. Hey, what's with you? Why are you staring at me like my grandpa used to? Hey, and why do you look like you suddenly got older too? Or am I just shrinking here? My baby! My 1600 baby! What's with that red-coated prosecutor anyhow? The guy told me it was evidence and refused to give it back to me. Well, that's kind of how it is. Hey, you're that redcoat's friend, ain't you? Splitting a few good words with me and getting back my camera. You want me to do what? Listen, nag the guy real good for about 5 hours, I'll guarantee he'll give it back. Why don't you do your own dirty work? Well, I reckon it's time for me to get going. Tabloid photographer without a camera is just a tabloid. Yeah, I guess so. Keep yourself together out there, you hear? I'm coming to see you in court tomorrow. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, I'll see you then. And you there too, little. Keep up the good work, okay? Okay. Don't be picky about your food now. Okay. And make sure you do all your homework, you hear? Okay. And if you happen to find yourself a camera, make sure you bring it right to me, yo. Would you please just leave already? Okay, we absolutely cannot go into On Guard's room. Unless we probably want to be shot. Mr. Nick? What is that otherworldly ghastly moaning? I hate evil ghosts! I don't think it's a ghost. Maybe it's a demon. What the fuck are you doing here? I can't escape this woman. I can't. I'm doomed to have this woman follow me around for all eternity. I won't be having nightmares about this bitch. Excuse me, what's you're calling a demon, brat? Zoinks! It's an Zoinks, Scooby! It's an alien! Ruh-roh! Who are you calling an alien? I mean, if the shoe fits. You're not helping with that. Oh, it's just you, Miss Holdback. What are you doing here? What's wrong with youngins today? I came down here to pay my respects to my poor one, and you're disturbing me.
We're here to do our fucking job. We're here to investigate.
We ain't got time for your shit.
But unfortunately, I will be ending the episode here, which means I will have to deal with her shit in the next episode. Hopefully for not much longer. So, we'll continue in the next episode. Till then, I'm signing off. Bye-bye.